Good evening and welcome to CSL on the Lake. And I am so grateful that you're here. We are honored to live, work, and play within the city of Toronto on the historical and traditional territory of many Indigenous nations, including the Anishinaabe and Wendat peoples, and more recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit and Haudenosaunee nations. And as we gather from places on Turtle Island, we as settlers are grateful for the opportunity to meet here, and we thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to this place, and we also recognize the contribution of Métis, Inuit, and other Indigenous peoples, both in shaping and strengthening our community, our province, and our country. Yes, we recognize our oneness, we realize our history, and we choose to create a new reality. We are one. Miigwech. Thank you. So our vision statement is transforming humanity through the emergence of the sacred, authentic self. And on that note, I invite you to relax and just quiet your mind as we go into meditation with Rev M.E.
Good evening. Let us begin. Notice the rhythm of your natural breath. Take in a slow breath. Notice the breath is constant in this present moment. I will begin the meditation, and I ask you to take a pause after I finish. Reflect on it for a second, and I'm going to continue on with the rest. And at the end, we'll be doing a minute and a half, perhaps, of silence, and then close. So let these words wash over you and make them your own if you so choose. I am grateful for this beautiful day. I am grateful for my health. I am grateful for my past experiences as they have brought me to where I am today. I am grateful for the sun, the air, the water, and my ability to assess them freely. I am grateful for the plants, animals, and my ability to see the beauty and the nature of all that surrounds me. I am grateful for the relationships in my life and my ability to connect with those around me. I am grateful for the opportunities that lie before me and my ability, yes, my ability to direct the path of my life. I am grateful for the adversities I have experienced and my ability to find positive lessons from them. I'm grateful for my strong body and my ability to power myself through my day. I am grateful for my home and my ability to rest in safety. I am grateful for my meals and all the people involved in the process to receive them. I'm grateful for my ability to feel love for myself and others. I am grateful for the abundance in my life and my ability to feel fulfilled. I am grateful for the ability to cultivate the energy I need to live well. I am grateful for the willingness to grow and the vulnerability needed to do so. I am grateful for the choices I have in my life and my ability to create the joy I desire. I am grateful for being enough, understanding I am exactly where I need to be on my journey. I am grateful for this beautiful day. Now let us take a short pause in silence. And just be mindful of your breath. And now bring your attention back to your physical body and deepen your breath once more. Bring your awareness to the present moment, to the sounds around you, to the surface below you. To the surface below you. Your mind is clear and competent, and you are feeling calm and wonderful. Let us anchor this now and join me in saying, and so it is. Ashe, amen. Thank you.
You're my life, you're my breath, you're a smile, you're my guest. You're the earth, you're the sun, you're the grass, you are love. You're my hands, you're a bug, you're my eyes, you're a hug. You're the light in the dark, you're the spark, you are fun. You're my mom, you are water, you're the stars, you're my daughter. You're my friend till the end, you're my dreams, you're my father. You're the ants on the ground, the miracles that surround. I'm feeling it all around, the hemisphere and the clouds. You're my pain, you're my sorrow, you're my hope for tomorrow. You're the strength when I'm hollow, you're the path that I follow. You're the blessings that exist, the small things that are bliss. The gift to realize that
all that I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all, for it all. Grateful for it all.
You're the blessings every time I try to count. You're the lessons that I learn every time I turn around. You're the water when I'm burned every time I think I found everything I'm looking for. You're the sign saying stop to take a bow and keep moving forward and start looking towards your heart. It'll open all the doors and only then you'll start to hear the world singing chorus with your mind and heart. Aligned in purpose, everything
all
will
that
feel
I
gorgeous.
am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all. For it all.
Every day I sit and pray, cause what I have is more than I deserve or could ever imagine. How do I give back to all of this magic and spread the love so everybody can have it? Doesn't matter if I'm rich or poor, if I got a family or if I'm all alone. Bad things happen, I can just complain and moan. But there's a million things that I can be grateful for.
So I lift up my hands now, and I open my heart, and my gratitude goes out to everything near and far. All that I am, all that I see,
everything I hope, and everything I dream, everything I feel, and everything I do. I look deep down and feel all the blessings, everything I am, and everything I see, everything I hope, and everything I dream, everything I feel, and everything I do. I'm grateful for it all. It's amazing, everything I am, and everything I see, everything I hope, and everything I dream, everything I feel, and everything I do. I look deep down and feel all the blessings, everything I am, and everything I see, everything I hope, and everything I dream,
I'm
everything I feel,
grateful for
and everything I
it
do. I'm grateful for it all. It's amazing. You're the blessings that exist, the small things that are bliss, the gift to realize that everything is a gift.
Yes, everything is a gift. It's hard to realize that sometimes because some things don't actually feel like a gift. So that's when we start complaining, right? Because there's no way we could really talk about gratitude without talking about complaining. And I remember a minister years ago who started this campaign for a complaint-free world. And he had little bracelets made for everyone. And the key was to wear it for 21 days and not complain at all for 21 days. So you'd put it on. The minute you complain, you had to switch wrists. So that's how you became aware of what you were doing. What was interesting is even the minister said that he had a lot of trouble getting to 21 days. It's amazing the things we complain about. What's interesting, though, is when we think about gratitude, because that's what we're talking about today. Gratitude is a way of being where we're actually getting to a place of recognizing that everything in life has value. Everything in life is actually bringing us closer and closer to our grandest dream and greatest vision. In order for us to get there, it's about living in appreciation of all that is. The ups and the down, the here and the there, the all of it, whether we like it or we don't like it, all of it is somehow playing a role. Emma Curtis Hopkins wrote, "Complaining and whining are only exhibitions of great desert spots in your character. You must fill up deserts with rain and fertilizer. So you must transform your moments of complaining by praise and descriptions of the good in the universe. The desert has had not enough rain, so you have not enough charity and mercy enough if you feel like complaining. If things in your past have made you feel sad and hard, you must say, the good they have done makes you thankful. Give great thanks." She also wrote, "It is gratification to know that if an accusation will bring us a sick person, a thankful and praiseful word, wow, twisting up those words, felt sincerely will bring a happy and healed case to our sight. It's a good thing to know that there are healing thoughts we can think, which will fill our minds when it gets to complaining and whining. We need not deny if we feel low-spirited and dissatisfied. We just need to describe the good of our lot, and describing our good will bring it to our sight again." So what she's saying is that whatever is going on in life, even if it's the worst day ever, if we pause for a moment and stop looking at the problem, we will find something for which to be grateful. If we sit back and recognize that what we're complaining about, what we're worried about, what we're focusing on in a painful way is actually a part of our existence, but it's not the all of it. That it is possible to look at that and to realize that, yes, this is not great, but what I know is what I think about, I bring about. So let me pause for a moment and let me reflect what in my life today brought me a sense of peace or joy. What is it that is happening in my life that I can be grateful for? And it might be a simple thing, maybe somebody smiled at you on the subway and it just gave you a warm feeling that somebody connected with you. Or maybe it's a surprise phone call where somebody phones you up that you haven't heard from in a while and you have a great conversation. For that moment that we're thinking about the good, in the moment that we're thinking about something else, what happens is the distress that we're feeling around whatever else is going on takes a back seat for a moment. And there's something to be grateful for, that moment of reprieve. As we spend more and more time focusing on the good, as we spend more and more time looking at what there is to be grateful for, what happens is we create more from that. So we're looking at shifting how we view life, right? Because life is a series of experiences that are based in perception alone. Like what we think about an event isn't actually the truth. It's our personal experience of it. So when we begin to be grateful for everything, and yeah, I get it's a stretch. I get it's a stretch. It took me a long time to get comfortable with the idea that I could be grateful for the things that absolutely annoy me to no end, or the things that have hurt me deeply. But what I've realized in retrospect, as I look at some of those painful things that occurred in my life, I wouldn't be the woman I am today without them. That somehow they've brought me to a place of acknowledging and recognizing who I really am. Well, at least I'm on my way there. And as I discover that, there's something more joyful, creative, and wonderful that happens, and I have a lot to be grateful for. Even right before I met Pierre, it was like this moment of going, looking, it was my 45th birthday, and I'm reflecting on my life, and I went, wow, I am so blessed. I lived in a city that I loved. I had a home that I loved. It was comfortable and warm, and I had great neighbors. I did work that I loved with people that I loved. What more could there be? And in that moment, I gave up all desire that I have to find the right partner. And I went, you know what? If this is as good as it gets, I'm okay with this. And I think it was 2 months later that I met Pierre, and about 2 weeks after that, we started dating. The journey that we're on is all about consciousness. Everything comes out of our minds. Everything we think into life is creating an experience for us. And it's important that we begin to acknowledge this power within us that has the ability to create harmony, love, peace, joy, grace, this divine universe that through every challenge we face, it's actually taking us to our highest good. And that bump in the road is the thing we needed to learn, to discover, to awaken, to expand our understanding of life and living so that we could, in fact, do the next thing that's coming. It's like those trials and tribulations. We can't necessarily appreciate the next thing if we haven't worked through the previous. It's like when I decided to come to Toronto to start this spiritual center, the idea of coming here was one that was firmly implanted my first week of schooling in this tradition. I knew I was going to be a minister. End of story right there. That was it. And I knew I was coming to Toronto. Now, when I graduated, it wasn't happening. And I ended up going to Vernon, BC, and I served there for 18 months. And it doesn't make sense if you're traveling east to go west first. But the truth is, I needed that experience to prepare me for what it was I was going to do here. Everything that's happening in life is preparing us. And when we resist it, we actually block all good from our life. If we will open up to it, if we will relax into it and take a deep breath and go, yes, this too is for my good. And I demand to see the good in it. Like right now would be great. But in the moment that we can just go, well, I'm aware that this is taking me somewhere, then what happens is we can just be with it, not denying it, not trying to make it go away. Remember, whatever we resist will persist. So when we're really uncomfortable, we want to open ourselves up to this place of deep gratitude so we can begin to see our way through and to come to a new reality. And this attitude of gratitude is so powerful because we as children were taught to say thank you whenever we got anything. So when we're living in an experience that is quite uncomfortable, if we can sit back and think about, what would I like instead? What would life look like? You know, if I was happy, what would the difference be? If I was feeling a sense of gratitude, what would the difference be? You see, we can be grateful before the outcome comes, right? Before it's there. It's just like, you know, a lot of people will say, well, I'll believe it when I see it. No. You're going to see it when you believe it. And so we have to switch our thinking. We're flipping the whole way of looking at the world around us. Instead of looking at the effect and thinking it could be different, we need to go back to cause. First cause. Within me, in my mind, my thinking has brought about my experience of life and living. If I am not happy with what I'm dealing with right now, then all I need to do is take a pause, take a breath, and take a moment to think about what is good in my life. Because I guarantee there's always something. And we start with that. We start with that one little spark of good. And as we focus on that spark, what happens is it soon starts to take flame, and then it gets into a roaring bonfire. And the next thing you know, we have this huge fire burning inside of us that's moving us forward in life in ways that maybe we hadn't even imagined. It's a journey that we're on. And all of it is taking us to our destination. All of it. See, there's something inside each one of us, that little something that makes us special and unique. And there's something that we bring into life, into this world at this time. It is essential, it's necessary, and we're the only ones who can do it. I'm the only one who can do what I do in the way that I do it. You're the only one who could do what you do in the way that you do it. And the universe needs what you bring. Not someday, but today. Not if and when and maybe, but now. There's a calling deep inside of us that's pushing and prodding and causing us to wake up. And what we want to do is pay attention to that. A grateful heart appreciates all the good that flows and opens up to more and more good. Everything that we think about, there's a way that we get there. And it's being willing to be on the path and moving forward that brings us to that place. One day at a time, one moment at a time, one situation at a time. And whether it's our finances, our relationships, our careers, our health, whatever issue we might be dealing with today, if we would stop complaining. Okay, and here's what I mean by complaining. It's what you're thinking. You might not be speaking it, but what are you thinking about? Right? How many times has an issue gone on in our lives and we're talking very politely, you know, with our boss or our coworker or whatever, we're being real polite about it. But inside we're going, oh, come on. Surely you can see how obvious this is. Come on, smarten up. What an idiot. Come on. You can do better than that. You know, there's this voice inside of us that's running a story of, wow, why can't you see my way? My way is the right way. Come on. So obvious. So when I talk about complaining and whining, I'm not just talking about the words coming out of here. I'm talking about the cycle going on in here. And we want to interrupt it. And we want to interrupt it by remembering certain things. You know, remembering why we're doing what we're doing, remembering why we're seeking what it is we're seeking, why we're choosing to live the life that we're living, doing the career we're doing, or whatever it is that's going on. If our body's acting, you know, out of sorts with us, then just think about, you know, what is it about my body? Like, could I just love it? Right? Could I just love it? What if I looked in the mirror every day and adored and loved what I saw? My eyes, my hair, my cheekbones, my legs, my stomach, my arms. What if we just fell in love with what is? And then from this place, knowing that all growth comes from where I am. Okay. Everything grows from where I am, where you are. You know, and I've shared many, many times, you know, if you want to get to Quebec City from Toronto, you can't leave from London, Ontario. And why can't you leave from London, Ontario? Because you're in Toronto. You've got to leave from there. When we look at healing our lives, changing our lives, making our lives better, celebrating, rejoicing in our lives, we have to do it where we are. And where we are is where we are. And it's not good, bad, or wrong, or right, or it just is what it is. And so when we stop naming it and we stop deciding and labeling it and creating all these conditions around it, and instead just sit back and go, wow, I'm alive. I'm on this side of the grass. There's something to be grateful for. And then from there, look for something else and something else. And as we begin to focus on gratitude and we praise all the good that's in our life, and we begin to see that within me, there's this infinite power and presence, and it's saying yes to my biggest ideas, to my greatest vision, my passion, my purpose, all of it, it's saying yes. Can I say yes too? If the universe is saying yes to me, who is saying no? Who is saying not now, not yet, not enough? Maybe, when, possibly. That's what we're saying. Universe isn't withholding. We are. And so that attitude of gratitude is like, you know, we've been trained to say thank you when we're little kids. So there's something in our brains that goes, oh, I said thank you, I must already have it. So being grateful is like this infinite way of creating good, and to do it with such ease. So when I'm grateful, it's like my mind comes to understand, whoa, must already be there. Oh, I'm grateful for my health. Oh, health it is, right? We come to that place of understanding. I remember years ago doing treatment with a friend of mine who had just had a massive coronary. Went up to the ICU, told him, there's this thing that I do. Should I do it with you? And he was like, yeah, sure. So I did treatment with him. And a week later, he was released from hospital because he had gone from having a major cardiac event, a major heart attack, to a week later, they couldn't find a thing wrong with him. And in between those 7 days, they had done stress tests and stuff, which showed that he had had a major heart attack. And a week later, his heart was completely healed. A friend of mine's dying of AIDS, down to about, 85 pounds or something, 90 pounds. And we did treatment together, not for health. He treated for life. He treated for living. When I asked him what he wanted, he said, I've never been afraid of dying, but I've always been afraid of living. He said, today I'm not afraid of living anymore. This disease has been the greatest blessing I've ever had. And so we treated for life, for love, for joy. And within 2 weeks, he'd gained 18 pounds. And in a few months, he was back to work. The journey that we're on is something that we are creating person by person. And if there's an area of disconnect or discord, we don't need to fight it. We don't need to argue about it. We don't have to try to defend it or to hide it. What we need to do is simply within ourselves, acknowledge it and recognize that this too is taking me to my highest good. This too is allowing me to see something more than what I'm currently experiencing. This is allowing me to change direction, possibly. A door has closed, so that is not the direction. Let me move a little to the left or to the right, and maybe I find that path, the path that's mine to take. You see, each one of us is individual, independent, unrepeatable. And because each one of us has our own path, our own way. And your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, your minister, your whoever does not know what your path is, but you do. Yes, you do. Don't you argue with me. Yes, you do. Each one of us knows. Now, we might not want to admit it at the moment, and we might be a little resistant to it because it might just stretch that comfort zone we've been living in. Or shall I say that uncomfort zone that is familiar. And so we stay there because it's familiar. Let us shift it up a little bit. Let's break open that box that we've been living in, and let's stand in a place of possibility where we acknowledge and recognize the power and presence of God, not as an idea or a guy in the sky or some flaky weird thing, but the very energy of life itself. The creative potential within each and every one of us, a divine idea that is so powerful, so positive, so productive, and that we can use consciously. Right now, we're using it unconsciously, but we can shift that. Creatively using this infinite potential, we become powerful, remarkable, gifted, talented. Not someday, but now. Not when, but now. Not if, but now. There's a journey that we're on that allows us to wake up and begin to live out loud, to honor the path that we have, to know that it's unique to me. It's not your path, it's mine, and yours is yours. And as we come to recognize that, to acknowledge that, to allow that, to be grateful for it, we begin to create a life that not only is positive and brilliant, but it is shining out into the world, sharing that light, taking that light out there to any darkness that exists is lifted, illuminated, eradicated, because the darkness cannot live where the light is. And in the moment that we get grateful, we begin to shift that heavy energy, that negativity, that darkness. We begin to shift it because gratitude and hate or fear cannot coexist. Love and fear cannot coexist. Only the light can be. You walk into a dark room and light a match. What happens? The darkness immediately recedes when there's fear, doubt, worry. In the place of there, we brought in the love, and in that love, in that gratitude, we begin to eradicate all of that negativity. We begin to eradicate it. We start to see the world from a new way and a new vantage point, and all of a sudden things around us start to shift and change, and things get easier and more fun and more interesting. Like the story of the two little boys, one the optimist, the other the pessimist. And the parents are trying to figure out how to balance out the energy of these twins. They're just night and day, these kids. And so they decide they've got a great plan. For the pessimist, they go and buy every toy imaginable and fill his room to the rafters with it, so that when he comes home from school, how could he possibly be pessimistic about that? He'll be excited, delighted, and thrilled beyond measure. And for the kid that's a little too optimistic, would just fill his room with manure, knock him down a peg or two. Not sure if this is good parenting, but anyway, it's just a story. So the kids come home from school, and the one little kid goes in his room and he goes, "Oh, that one's the wrong color. And look, it's broken already. And why would you get me this? I don't even like this. Well, where's the batteries for this one? I can't even use it because I don't have the right batteries for it." And the little boy who has all of the manure in his room, he's in there and he's digging away and he's screaming with delight. And his parents come running going, "What is going on here?" And he goes, "With all this manure, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere." Right? We're creating life however we create it. We're deciding what something is before we even look at it. We're waking up thinking we know something, but maybe we're still in the darkness. And I invite you to shift perspective, to look for a new avenue, a new way, begin to live from the place of the optimist, so that when you're covered with manure, just know it grows incredible roses, and begin to see the beauty that comes at the end of that tunnel if we begin to look for the good rather than for the negative. You see, we can always complain and whine. We can always find something wrong. We can always find somebody to blame. But the truth is, everything in my life is created by me. That's the good news and the bad news. All that's going on that I don't like, well, I created that. All the stuff that's going on that I absolutely love, I created that. The good news is, if I created it, I can change it. If I created it, I can change it. If I created it, I can change it. And I believe everything is self-created. Every one of us is some part of this infinite universe. Every one of us is moving, creating, expanding, exploring according to what we're doing in any given moment. And in the moment that we come to that place of realizing I am here by divine appointment, when we recognize that I am part of something so much bigger than this finite, limited, tiny self that I'm playing with, there's something more going on. And in the moment that I acknowledge that and recognize that and begin to live from that understanding, I start to see the potential that my life could hold. Our life itself is the ultimate gift. And when we know this to be true, we've already received. In the course, Art and Science of Spiritual Mind Treatment, it's written, gratitude comes with knowing the process of setting a new cause in motion and the creative process operating on it, even before the manifestation has occurred. This is being in a state of gratitude because we've placed our order and the universe is whipping it up for us and will absolutely, without question, deliver it to our table. Whatever it is you want, whatever it is you dream about, whatever it is you desire, the universe only has one answer. Yes. Yes. Yes to all of it. And if there's any no in there, if there's any hesitation in there, if there's any confusion in there, well, that comes from us. The infinite, eternal presence of life itself, the energy that made all things, that is being each one of us, there's no confusion there. The confusion is in my own mind, where I try to reconcile the idea that this infinite creative force is being me, not separate from, different than. It is being me, it is being you. And so as I live in this life and I begin to look at you, at the beauty, grace, goodness that you are, and I begin to see myself as the beauty, divine grace that I am, and within that create a place of harmony and peace where we can meet, where we can gather, what happens is a shift occurs and something wonderful happens. But I must take responsibility. I must acknowledge I am one with God. I am one with spirit. I am one with the universe. I am one with the universe, not separate from, not different than, one with. So the cells of my body, that is the universal intelligence. The activity of mind, the universal intelligence. Now I might interrupt it with my ego thoughts and limit it a little bit. My prerogative, joy of free will. The journey that we're on is individual. We are each individualized expressions, unrepeatable. 8 billion people on the planet, 8 billion different expressions of this one divine creative intelligence. But all of us divine, whether we know it or not. And we all have the ability to know. We all have the ability to create. I remember a story years ago of a young man who lived, I can't remember which country in Africa, but he was born with one leg that was deformed and way short, right? And he was, thinking about what he would do with his life. And luckily his mom didn't throw him away, because most of the times in their village at that time, if a child was born with some sort of a disability, they were left to die. They weren't considered valuable. And so his mom saved him from that. She loved him enough that she wasn't going to allow that to happen. And as he journeyed along, he did a little bit of work that he could do, polishing shoes and doing whatever to make a little bit of money. But he had this dream. I think he might have been from Ghana, I'm not sure, but he had the dream to cycle across his country to show people that people with disabilities could still do plenty. That was his dream. And so I don't know how he found out about this, but he sent a letter to a company in the United States that was granting wishes, granting dreams. And he said, I want a bicycle so I can do this thing. So they sent him a bicycle and he cycled across the country. Oprah heard about it, had him on the show. He talked about his dream. The fact that he accomplished it, well, he ended up, when he was on Oprah, somebody stepped up and said, hey, we'll do surgery to remove that part of your leg and fit you with a prosthesis. All of these things happened because this little boy had a dream. And as he grew into a teenager and stuff, the dream stayed. Now, most people would sit back and say, well, you can't do that. How are you going to cycle across the country with one leg? Well, better yet, how are you going to cycle across the country? You don't have a bike. Where are you going to get a bike? How did he know about this thing in the United States? He lived in a little tiny village. There is one mind. We live, move, and have our being in it. We think in and out of the same subjective consciousness, every single one of us. And when we do spiritual mind treatment for one person or another person, we're treating our own mind to know a greater truth, a greater idea, a greater vision. And in doing that, change happens. It happens easily, quickly, and without resistance or any sense of, well, I wonder. No. It's a done deal. In the moment that we know who we are, where we are, what we're doing, what we're here to bring, in that moment of great gratitude and praise and thanksgiving, we begin to create something remarkable, beautiful, and fabulous. And there is no thing that can block it or stop it. Just like this young man in Africa who wanted a bike and got so much more. Started a foundation where he's bringing wheelchairs over for people who had need of wheelchairs. So much good came from that one little dream. The one little dream that was really quite huge, quite massive, quite wonderful, and has created a shift in the country where people are starting to see the value of all people rather than some. And that's a lesson for us here as well, to look around us, and whoever it is we're judging, just know the judgment is something we hold on ourselves. It's not about them, it's about us. What I think about is about me. What I focus on is about me. Where I set my intentions is about me. When I'm sitting back in my little holy place going, oh, do you believe what so-and-so did? That's all about me, not about anybody else or anything else. And so in the moment when I can learn to love myself enough that I don't feel the need to try and put somebody else down, in that moment, I start to see my value and my worth, but I also see the value and worth of the people around me. And there's so much to be grateful for. We live in a world that requires little from us. What it requires is our authenticity. It requires that we show up authentically, honestly, that we show up with a grateful heart. Meister Eckhart, the 14th century mystic, said, if the only prayer you ever did was a prayer of gratitude, it would be sufficient. It would be enough. The idea of gratitude is so important. And it's up to each one of us to stand in that idea and to begin to live with that. When we give thanks, we're purifying our emotional response to life by focusing on love instead of fear, doubt, worry, shame. That's from Diane Harmony. And then from Eric Butterworth in Spiritual Economics, he wrote, our gratitude makes no difference to God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it. The difference it makes is to ourselves and our experience of the world. A grateful heart is really just about finding a place within us where we can be at peace with what is, knowing that this too shall change, this too shall pass. So I want to invite you as we come to the end of this lesson that There's so much to be grateful for. And one of the practices that can be done that is so helpful is to take time every day to write out a gratitude list. Write out a couple of things that you're grateful for. Every day, like closing out the day, and before you go to sleep, go, wow, what happened today that was remarkable or interesting or beautiful? And just to be thankful. Just to be thankful. It opens us up to so much. Ralph Waldo Emerson says, beware of too much good staying in your hand. We want to make sure that we circulate our good. And by being grateful, there's a willingness within us to share, to be, to expand, to allow, to love, to laugh, to play. I heard someone say today that so much of what we've been angry about over our lives, as we look back, go, really? I got angry about that? Something so insignificant. It's time to look within, to find the cause of all things at the core of our being, and that our true divine nature is one of goodness. Grace and gratitude follow suit. And on that note, thank you for this day.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit. Thank you for my wealth. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit. Thank you for my wealth. My opulent, my opulent, my opulent wealth. My opulent, my opulent, my opulent wealth. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Oh, thank you. Thank you for this day, Spirit. I want to thank you. I want to thank you. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Every day I say thank you for this day.
Oh, so much to be grateful for sure. Oh my goodness. Well, at this time in our service, it is time. Oh, we have an announcement. I thought we didn't have any tonight, but I forgot. So tax receipts will be going out next month. So please ensure that we have your mailing address, or if you prefer to receive it by email, just let us know your email address if we don't have it, and we'll make sure you get those receipts in time. Also, I want to just thank you for joining this evening, and hopefully something said or done has helped to improve your state of mind or made you more hopeful, inspired, or even happy. And if so, my job is done for sure. And Emmy, thank you to Emmy for her beautiful meditation. And of course, Deja in the background, running all things, and everybody who participates. You're just all such a gift and a blessing. So there's a number of ways you can give. If you'd like to give to CSL on the Lake, you can do that by e-transfer to admin@cslonthelake.com. Of course, you can always go to our website and hit the give link, or mail a check to the office. But however you choose to give, just know that we receive it with a very grateful heart, and we're very appreciative of everything that you do, everything that you are, and everything that you give to this center. So let us close, and following the closing treatment, we'll have one more song, and then we're going to meet in community. So you'll be able to take your mute off and start to share with the rest of us. So let us join together in consciousness. What I know in this moment is that life is happening with ease, with grace, with goodness and beauty, that life is abundant and blessed, that health is vibrant and well, that the journey of relationships is peace and loving, respectful and kind, that the journey of life itself is absolutely a gift and a blessing, that each little thing that is occurring is taking me closer and closer to the grandest vision I have for my life, for my world. And so all is well, and I'm grateful for every little bit of it. Grateful for what was and what will be, grateful for the now moment of acknowledging and accepting that it is what it is. So with a heart filled with gratitude and a mind clear and ready to live in a place of love and grace, I release these ideas into the law of mind. It is done, all is well, and so it is.
From the day that we were born, Mom hugged us with warmth, and we grew because we knew we had all your support. From the fams to the friends, your love was medicine, keep giving us the strength to rise when we would sin, and the knowledge that we gained through every single mistake. But you never backed down. Through this, you taught me faith. Every single one of you, through being you, you do find a way to spread love and truth through me and you. And it's because of you I grew, because of you I flew, because of you I made it through without residue. Because of you we all have a home to come to. You're a blessing to us all, so keep just being you. To my people, yeah, you're my soul, you're my roots, you're my family, my life, you're my truth. To my people, yeah, everybody, every being, every life, every moment, everything. To my people, yeah, you're my God, you're my soul, you're my way of pushing me to help me grow. To my people, yeah, I bow down to your heart of gold. Yeah.
President, the universe, the infinite, the all. Kacha, Allah, whatever name you call. Then I think the ancestors, yes, the predecessors, the wisdom and the knowledge that they passed only bless us. Shot the Marcus Garvey, MLK, Malcolm County, Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, Tupac, they remind me the power of the pen, the music and the voice. Everything they've done, let me know I have a choice. Now for my people, mom, pop, sister, brother, best friend, acquaintance, lover, co-worker, even if I don't give up the good that you do, help me see my way through certain space. You share it on the great to my people, yeah. You're my soul, you're my roots, you're my family, my life, and my truth. To my people, yeah. Everybody, every being, every life, every moment, everything. To my people, yeah. You're my God, you're my soul, you're my way of pushing me to help me grow. To my people, yeah. I'll bow down to your heart of gold, yeah. When I close my eyes, I always see learning souls who walk with me. They taught to laugh, they taught to love. You go to hug when push comes to shove. Turn the cheek, forgive, walk away. Tomorrow is another day. Life is short, helping hands, they say, are holier than the ones who pray. To my people, yeah. You're my soul, you're my roots, you're my family, my life, to my people, yeah. Everybody, every being, every life, every moment, everything. To my people, yeah.
to my life, my life, to my people, everybody, everything, every life, almost everything to my people, I give my soul to social media, help me all to my people, yeah. I bow down to your heart of gold, to my people.